Good day, everyone, and warm welcome to today's webinar. Please let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me well. Just add plus, send a plus in our chat. Yes. Yeah, thank you, guys. Such a great, oh, thank you very well. Yeah, such a great geography. Good day, everyone. Perfect. So my name is Julia, and I will be your moderator for this session. I'll be managing our chat and ensuring that everything runs smoothly. Today's webinar is all about recovering data from formatted SSDs. And with more than several hundreds registration requests, it's obvious that this is a hot topic, the topic that matters. And we are excited to share our strategy and our experience and help you to turn these cases into success stories. Before we begin, all your questions are welcome. Please use our chat, tap all your inquiries there. I will be carefully collect all your questions during the presentation, and we will hold a dedicated QA session at the end. So we will try to answer all of your inquiries. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our speaker, my colleague George. He is an ACE Lab engineer and training instructor with over 7 years of experience. He resolves data recovery cases, tickets daily, conducts online and on-site training, and performs at major data recovery and digital forensics events. So let's get started. George, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, Julia. Hello, guys. Nice to see all of you in chat. And as Julia said, such a geography of you, and it's a great pleasure for me to be a presenter today. And today we're going to speak about SSDs and how to recover the data from them if they were formatted. So the presentation will be divided into two parts, let's say like this. So we will speak about the problem. In general, we will see what are the issues with that, why it can be caused, what we can do with that, how we can do it. And the second part will be the practical case. So I will demonstrate you how exactly you need to bypass such issues, what exactly the buttons that you need to click on in order to get access to the removed, deleted, or formatted data from your SSD. So as Julia said, don't be shy, ask all of your questions. We will have time after the presentation, and it will be another great pleasure to me to answer all of your questions. So let's continue. Let's start the presentation. And first of all, of course, just a couple of words about our company. So ACE Lab is the world leader in data recovery technologies, and we have huge experience. We are on the market for more than 30 years, 33 years to be precise. And for all of this time, we are empowering data recovery engineers of all levels with our technologies, which can help you to work with any challenge connected with storage media devices. We provide training courses, both online and offline, to give you the opportunity to learn more, to improve your experience with our tools, to improve your knowledge. And last but not the least is, of course, technical support department. We are open for your tickets. We are always ready to help you in case of any media storage device that you don't know how to proceed with. So just creating a ticket, and we are here to help you with that. So as you all know, we are using TeamViewer, we are using AnyDesk to connect and help you with any case that you basically can imagine. So now let's answer the first question of today's webinar. And this question is, which storage devices are most common on your desk? So me, as technical support engineer, I can say that, of course, hard disk drives are still taking a very big part of the tickets, but each year I am looking for improving the amount of SSD cases that we are actually getting in our technical support department in your tickets. And it makes sense actually, because on this graph you can see how NVMe SSD market growing each year, and this is how like guys with big brains are predicting it to be in the future. So it will not go anywhere, it will only improve. We will only see more and more SSDs each year. So at some point, I'm sure that we will notice that SSDs are becoming even bigger than hard disk drives, not only in just everyday devices like PCs, laptops, and so on and on, but in our technical support tickets as well. And of course, in your laboratories too. And now I just want to do like a little Q&A session with you, but it will be me who is asking the question for you. So the first question from me to you today would be, what is the biggest challenge in modern SSD recovery for your lab? So you can see the answers, you can prioritize them, and to be able to answer this question, we are gonna use a special QR code that you can scan with your smartphone and answer a couple of questions there. So just give me a moment, I will share the QR code with you. So it should be on the screen in a second. Here it is. Please scan the QR code and start answering this question. As I said, we will have a couple of them, so be prepared to keep your smartphone around. I can see that we have a pretty big list of participants today, so I will wait a little bit to see how many of you are responding. So it's anonymous, so you don't need to worry about it. It's not an exam, or something like this. So answer as honest as possible, because it's an interesting information that you will help, your answers will help us as well for better understanding what are your most, let's say, burning problems. So what I can tell at the moment, I can tell that firmware problems, of course, is in the first place, because we all know the good parts of SSDs, the bad parts of SSDs. Yes, they are extremely fast, they are provide a pretty good speeds, but of course, because of that, because of how the data is storing inside the SSDs, firmware problems are still the most popular type of issues when we are speaking about data recovery. So cases like damaged translator when you cannot access the data, cases like busy state of your SSD when you connect it to your PC or to your laptop and it is not communicating with you. And of course, one of the most common issues, no passport info when it can be detected, like partially, but no data is available for you. The second place, top two, is deleted data or formatted partitions. And I can see that more and more people are putting their voices on this part. And of course, formatted partitions, not only on SSDs actually, deleted data on hard disk drives are still a very popular problem that you can get. So actually, if we compare the answers that we can see right now, that we can see today with the answers that we have, that we got during the Tech Week that we got in the end of 2025, our ACE Lab Tech Week, we can notice that the answers are pretty similar. So the biggest issue is still firmware problems, but bad sectors during imaging, deleted data, it is taking like second place and place number 3. If we compare it with current answers, we can see that deleted data becomes more and more popular. So how much time passed still from the last ACE Lab Tech Week? a couple of months. Yeah, not a very big gap in terms of time, but we can see that deleted data and formatted partitions are a very burning theme at the moment. Okay, thank you very much for your answers, but as I said, do not put your phones away because we need to check the next slide. So I will give you like a couple of seconds to finish all of your all of your voting, and we will continue with the next slide. So the next slide, the next question that I would like to ask you, I see that formatted cases are taking a big part of the cases that you receive. But the question now is, how often do you get formatted SSDs? The option number one, almost all cases are formatted drives. Almost all cases have firmware problems. Half of the drives are formatted. You do not accept the drive if it is formatted. With each wrong approach, especially you will notice it after we finish talking today, after I will show you after I will show you how to work with such cases. And the last option is I don't work with SSDs at all, which is again not a very good approach because it's not that hard as you could have think. So I'm seeing in comments that there is an option that we should add in the next questions, that you are receiving them rarely. But what I can tell right now, that if we again compare the results of this second question, we will see more or less identical results with the ASLab Tech Week 2025. There, I will show you in a minute that we are gonna see that previously it was mostly firmware problems, but right now I can tell that more people are telling that there are a lot of drives that are being formatted that end up in their data recovery laboratories. So again, it's a very interesting statistics that we definitely gonna use, and it means that we are like our roadmap for adding solutions for formatted SSDs was awaited. So all right, a couple of more moments for all of you to finish voting, and we will compare these results with the previous results that we get in 2025. So these are the answers. These are the results that we got in 2025. So definitely, again, it's not rocket science to understand that almost all cases will still have firmware problems. And if you are thinking that if you have formatted SSDs, they need to be in working state, so they should not have firmware problems. It's not correct, because a lot of cases can have firmware problems and at the same time they can be formatted. So in this case, it's of course there will be some additional steps that you need to go through in order to recover the data. But again, generally speaking, we can see that there are a lot of situations when you need to, if not to recover data, but at least diagnose the drive which is formatted. So it was popular issue with hard disk drives, and of course this issue will not go anywhere when we are switching to SSDs. Thank you very much for answering this this question, and let's see what we can think of next. So what do you usually do with deleted or formatted data on the SSD? Let's imagine that you are sitting in your laboratory, you receive the SSD which your client says that, I didn't mean to erase everything. I was not trying to delete this very important file from my SSD or from my hard disk drive. Yeah, what you are doing in such cases? How often do you get such cases? It's like another question. Yeah, I can understand it. You can use chat if you can answer it. Yeah, as I said, it's like a Q&A session right now, but I am the one who asking you the question. So we are flipping the sides today. So how often do you get the SSDs? I see that most of them can be connected with firmware damages, or most of them can be connected with deleting information, but how often do you get such cases? I am seeing a couple of messages in chat that one of the most popular cases of formatting while installing the Windows. And this is actually, as you can see, exactly the next slide that I was going to represent to you. So when you can see the cases that are quickly formatted, one of the most popular problems, one of the most popular issues is when you are trying to reinstall the operating system, but you are choosing not your drive C when you are doing it, but you choose your second drive, for example, your second SSD, which has all of your data, which has all of your important information. Or, for example, you have a couple of drives connected to your laptop or to your desktop machine, and you was trying to clean up some space, and again you mistakenly choose the wrong drive, wrong disk, in disk management or in disk utility, and of course Windows machine will start executing quick formatted there. External drive confusion, when you have a couple of same brand SSDs connected to your laptop, to your desktop, to any PC that you are working with. It's not a very big challenge to mistakenly to mix the drive and delete information from one of them. And of course, factory resetting. Factory resetting when there is some kind of maybe logical issue with your laptop or with your gaming console or with your laptop, and you and I mean the person who is not very good in terms of experience in such cases, the easiest way for them is to restart the machine. If it is not working, factory reset them. This is like another situation when you can have quickly formatted drive that end up in your data recovery office or data recovery laboratory. So now let's talk what are the differences and what kind of formatting you can face when we are speaking about media storage devices. Quick format, the most popular because it's fast and it's just actually creating a new file system over the previous one. So this process can be done accidentally, especially if the person do not understand what he is exactly doing at the moment. So this is, at least in technical support department, in cases that we're receiving, this is the most popular type of formatting. And of course, there is full format. It's a slow process. Even on the modern SSDs, this process will take some time because it will actually physically overwrite the whole partition while you are executing this full formatting. So it's not like you click it and you continue working with the drive. No, until it overwrites the whole partition physically with zeros, with FFs, or with some LBA, depending on what kind of interface you are using, what kind of utility you are using, it can be selected. So this is full overwriting. But quick format, it's a lot more popular for everyday use of PCs, especially again if the person is not very good at working with PCs. So this is the more popular kind of problem. And now let's quickly understand how quick format works on hard disk drives. So let's imagine that your drive was filled with data and the amount of data on this drive was like very high. And before quick format, we can see that this green part of our capacity is taking with the old user data and file system metadata. So it's all good, everything is all right, but then you are accidentally quick formatting your drive. What is actually happening in the background? The Windows operating system will just write new file system metadata in some positions on inside your drive, but you can see that most of your old data, like a very high percentage, will still remain on the drive. And in such case, it's not a very difficult problem to recover the data, because a lot of user data and a lot of file system metadata will remain on the drive. This metadata can be researched, can be analyzed, and in a lot of cases, especially if the person didn't start writing new information over the previous one, this will give access to user files and folders. And again, it's not a very challenging task, especially on classic hard disk drives. So finding the file system metadata will give you the opening for your old previously written data. And of course, there are a lot of different logical data recovery softwares that can help, which are free in internet, but you should not trust always some free solutions, because they definitely may be not secure. They can be damaging to your drive that you are working with. And of course, PC3000 systems can also do the job, as because this is just a logical issue, especially in cases when your hard disk drive is not physically damaged. It's not a challenge for us. Data extractor provides you a lot of different features for analysis, raw recovery, quick disk analysis. So those who know our solutions, they can definitely say that it's not a big challenge for us. And of course, we can do so much more, especially in cases when the media storage device is physically damaged at the same time. So let's quickly summarize everything that we just mentioned, that we just said. After a quick format, most of the data still remains on your hard disk drive. There is a lot of software that can help, and chances of recovery are very high. So all of this was true until SSDs appear on the market. And not only SSDs, as you going to see in a minute. So this is the situation of how many SSDs we can see not only on the market, but in our technical support department as well. So starting from 2020, most of the hard disk, of the tickets that we receive, most of the media storage devices that we receive were connected with hard disk drives. They were SATA, PATA, SAS, and so on and on. But SSDs were generally close. Like 20% difference is not that high, actually. But each year, we are noticing that more and more SSDs are coming to the technical support department. And if we check the statistics, of course, it depends on the place where you live. Of course, it depends on the city, on the country, and so on and on. Some of them are still using mostly hard disk drives. Some parts of the world already switched to SSDs. So it will be highly depending on the place where you live. But if we summarize all the statistics, we can see that in 2025, the amount of cases connected with SSDs significantly grows, and they will only grow further. And we are not only talking about SATA SSDs. Let's not forget about NVMe drives, which becomes extremely popular nowadays. So I remember when they only appear in our technical support department, and how things has changed since then. So how SSDs are working? It's a common knowledge that SSDs are extremely fast in terms of reading and in terms of writing. But here is the catch. Writing is very, very quick if we are writing to an empty space. So if before there were zeros in the position where you want to write, but if you are overwriting the data which is already presented on your drive, it will take significantly more time. So a couple of times slower it will be to overwrite some existed data. It's just how SSD technology works. It's like the physics of the process. So it's something that you need to keep in mind. And this is actually the reason why manufacturers of SSDs added a special feature which is having four letters in the name, four scary letters that were like a very big challenge for a long time. What operating system can do with SSDs? Obviously, it can read the data, it can write the data, it can get the information from the SSD, like capacity, the serial number, and most importantly for us as data recovery engineers, it can trim the data. So a lot of modern motherboards and modern versions of Windows operating system have the possibility to trim the data on the SSDs. Why this trimming operation becomes so popular? Because of the previous slide. Writing without trim, writing over the previously written data, it's a very slow process, even on the modern SSDs. But writing after trim, writing to an empty blocks, it's a lot quicker, it's a lot faster to do like this. And this is actually the reason why modern SSDs are that quick in terms of reading and writing operations, because of this trim command that improves, that works in the background and improves the speed of the drive. But what is trim? And do you know that modern hard disk drives might also use trim? So it's not like the only available on the SSDs. So this is another question that you need to answer. Let's see how many of you are up to date. How many of you knows that actually modern hard disk drives might also use trim? And I can tell you that it's not that small amount of hard disk drives that have such possibilities. Actually, it's a very, very big part of modern hard disk drives that has such possibilities. All right, so a very big part of the audience knows that hard disk drives might also use trim. I can see in chat a lot of correct answers. What exactly the type of hard disk drives that can also use trim? And yeah, you are correct. If we are talking about hard disk drives that can use trim, we are talking about SMR drives, about drives that are using SMR technology, single magnetic recording technology. And because these SMR drives are having a lot more complicated internal firmware, it is actually another big challenge for us. But ASLab actually provide a high-end solution for modern hard disk drives that has been quick formatted or has some deleted data on them. And we're gonna speak about it maybe the next time, maybe a little bit later. So now let's quickly understand how trim actually works. So let's see that by default, yeah, we have our SSD in working state. So we have blocks with data. Blocks are being used. Blocks contains the data, and SSD returns the data when you are working with that. So you can write, you can read the data on it. Then you are deleting something, or you are asking the drive to do some quick format, for example. So the drive receives the trim command from operating system. What is actually happening right now? Right now, the blocks that were having the data are not in use anymore. So let's say that CPU of the SSDs tell the drive that actually, let's forget about it. Let's forget about these blocks. But it's not immediately erased. These blocks are still contains the data. But instead of this data, SSD returns 0. So SSD think that right now it is empty. Right now it's just showing the zeros. And if you connect this SSD to your laptop or to your desktop machine and try to get access to the data, you will see nothing. You will see empty space, because SSD on the firmware level, it will think that there are only zeros remaining on the drive. But data will still be on the SSD. It will be erased by background process after some time. So it's actually hard to predict exact timings of when this data will be erased. But there is like a gap in time when it will be possible to get access to the data, because these blocks will still contain the data. After some time, of course, data will be erased by the background process and blocks will not be in use anymore. Blocks will be erased and SSDs will return actual zeros that are actually physically written on the SSDs. So how quick format works on SSDs? Yeah, if we compare them with hard disk drives. Before quick format, we still have old user data, file system metadata, everything looks all right. After the quick format, the new file system metadata will be written to the SSDs, and instead of old user area, SSD will see the zeros. So it will not immediately physically rewrite it, because it's impossible to do even on the fastest SSDs at the moment that are available on the market. So SSD will just forget about these files. It will just think that SSDs are actually zeros, are actually filled with zeros. So it will initialize the new file system. So what is the difference between like old classic hard disk drives and SSDs that were trimmed? It's like the different level when media storage device understands if it is actually zeros or if it is just just new information of the data. So logical data recovery tools will fail if the trim has been used on modern hard disk drives and SSDs, because after a quick format on the SSD, we will not have old metadata. We will not have old user data, only new file systems and zeros, all thanks to trim, because trim works, let's say, on deeper level in terms of the firmware. So previously on classic hard disk drives, if you just execute raw recovery, it will be enough. So it will be possible to find the data immediately when you start data extractor task. On SSDs that were using the trim, it will not be possible. Even in raw recovery in data extractor, it will still shows only zeros. It will only show you new information of the new file system. So again, intermediate summary. The chances of recovery on hard disk drives, classic hard disk drives, are very high. On SSDs, looks like it is impossible. Yeah, and this was actually true until SMR hard disk drives appear. But as I said, this is another story for the next time, how we can deal with SMR hard disk drives that were quickly formatted or that were that were faced with deleted area. So right now we are talking about SSDs. So what to do with formatted SSDs? What are the possible options? Because right now, yeah, on the paper, it doesn't look good because even SSD itself thinks that it has zeros. Even the SSD itself on the low firmware level think that there are no more data available for us as data recovery engineers. So what are our options? What we can do? How we can deal with such cases? The answer is well known. It's PC3000 unique approach via technological mode. So those of you who already has our products knows what is the technological mode and how PC3000 SSD utilities can help you with different firmware corruptions. And actually, the same technological mode can provide you the possibilities to work with the formatted drives as well. What is inside an SSD? Yeah. Any media storage device, and especially SSDs, are divided into the capacity divided into several parts. The first and most important part for media storage device will always be service area. So this is the space reserved for firmware, for modules, for system files, for translators, etc. And this service area is not available for operating system. It's a very obvious reason why, because no manufacturer of the any tool wants you to play with the settings, because if you are not experienced user, you will basically damage the media storage device. So that's why service area is hidden on the operating system level, and there is no way how you can access it without using specific tools like PC3000. The second part, which is the biggest part, it's the user data. It should be the most important part for SSD. At least a lot of users of modern SSDs think this way, but actually user data, which is available at the operating system level, it's not important for the SSD. The biggest reason, the biggest thing that SSD is and any other media storage device is thinking about its service area. So SSD will still work if you will have fully written user data, or if it were only zeros. So for SSD, it's not that significant change. And we have some additional hidden data. It's like a part of user data which is hidden from operating system, which includes caches and versions of the files, of the folders, of the file systems, and so on and on. So this is how it looks like. We have CPU, we have RAM chip. If it is external, sometimes RAM chip can be inside the CPU, and we have the NAND chip. So all the data actually stored inside the NAND memory chips of your SSDs. So why do we need to use technological mode? Because without technological mode, you will never get access to these hidden areas. So technological mode opens new possibilities for you to communicate with your drive. And you are not communicating on the operating system level, so only about some logical corruption, only about some some basic tasks. You can actually upload custom firmwares. You can fix the service area if some of your modules becomes damaged on your SSDs. So you can actually work with all the data which is stored on the NAND memory chip by using PC3000 systems. And because of that, you can bypass a lot of challenges connected with the firmware corruption, and as you already should understand, the corruptions connected with quick formatted SSDs and SSDs with deleted data. So what can we get in standard mode? Yeah, if we are just working with the Windows operating system, if the drive is just connected there. So we can have access to data which is written and not erased. So, for example, newly written data. But the data which has been erased by TRIM, it will be inaccessible for us in standard mode. But in technological mode, we will not only get access to the actual data which is written at the moment, we, with the help of service area of working with the additional information taken from the firmware part of the SSD, we can recover the data which is hidden right now, which is hidden at the moment on the operating system level. And this information can only be recovered with PC3000 tools via technological mode. We are the only solution that can help you to recover the data after being deleted, after being trimmed. So, all right, we have access to the hidden data. We have information on it, it's all right. But how do we get the old files and directories? Because right now we don't have metadata, we don't have file systems, we don't have nothing. We have just some access to the data. How we can combine them all together. General steps will be very, very similar with the way how you are recovering the data on just firmware corrupted SSDs. So you need to upload a loader to your drive. You need to build the translator to get access to the user data. And then by using data extractor and additional specific functions that I will show you today, you can actually get not only user data which is available right now. You will have the possibility to get the data that is available before the quick format and the newly written data which is available at the moment. What are the practical steps? First, you need to enter the utility. You need to create the translator in the utility, prepare the task in data extractor, which is a software add-on to work with the user area of your drive. Select the relevant versions of your translator, and then save the data. So this is the approach. Previously, when you just working with just firmware corrupted SSDs, you can stop there. You're creating the translator and you're preparing the task in data extractor. But with the additional steps, you can, as I said, scan the relevant versions of the files, of the folders, of the file systems, and get access to deleted data. How to do it? How to create translator in the utility? When you enter the special utility for your drive, you need to upload the loader. You need to create the translator this way. Tests, service information, translator, create. After that, you need to prepare the task in data extractor. So you are creating the task based on utility, because in the utility the drive will be initialized. Then this is the new part, let's say. You need to add drive with access by physics, add drive with translation and versions. All of this I will show you in a couple of minutes in the real life case, so don't worry about this. This is just the introduction. So first you are working with the utility, adding the drive with access by physics, and adding the drive with translation and versions. Then how you can select the relevant versions. After doing the steps which are described on the previous slide, you will get a new virtual drive map. And then it's up to you. You can do it manually. You can select the versions automatically based on the addresses. And those who already have our products, those who already work with our tools, can find a lot of similarities actually, because the same approach we already used for SMR hard disk drives and flash data recovery. I can see a lot of questions in the in the chat regarding the support of the SSDs. So which SSDs are supported with this technology, with this working with deleted files? It is Silicon Motion, all utilities, so any drive based on Silicon Motion controller can use this technology. So it is already added into the software. All utilities based on Fission controllers already in the software and can be solved with the same approach. And in the latest version that we introduced not so long ago, we added the same possibility for Maxio MAS 0902, which is again already in the software, and you can use pretty much the same approach. Maxio controllers are significantly, let's say, different in terms of the firmware with Silicon Motion and Phison. So the approach can be a little bit different, but the steps that you need to do will be pretty much the same. So we are introducing a couple of new articles on formatted drives, and the first part is already available for you to check. It is available on our blog, and on our blog it's not only about SSDs and recovery from after trim command, but there are a lot of more interesting topics about our solutions, about features of our tools. So definitely check it out when you have time. So it will be a very interesting information from you for you there. And the full list of supported SSDs is available again on our blog via this QR code, so you can check it out. I think that we will send the links to the previous article and to this article to the chat, just so all the guys can check it out. But again, remember that at the moment you can recover the deleted and formatted cases from Silicon Motion based drives, Phison based drives, and Maxio MAS 0902 drives. So right now it's time for me to present you a couple of real life cases. So give me just a moment. I will take the SSDs that I'm going to show right now. So the first drive, it looks like this. So it is just a common SATA SSD, as you can see. And another thing that you need to remember, that you need to know, that this kind of approach, this kind of technology, it is not only limited with PC3000 Portable Pro. So if you have a case with SATA-based SSD, which has some deleted data or has been formatted, you can use PC3000 Express, you can use PC3000 UDMA systems, and have the same approach and recover data from them. So keep that in mind. And the second case, which will only be possible to solve on the portable Pro device, it looks like a flash drive, something that, I mean, can be in the palm of my hand, but actually this is the new types of SSDs. This is the future of SSDs, because a lot of manufacturers that were previously creating regular SATA SSDs and NVMe SSDs are switching and adding new models, which looks like this. So this is actually native USB interface with NVMe controller on it. So this SSD is based on Silicon Motion on Silicon Motion 2320G. So this is it. And already Phison manufacturer created the controller which is using on such kind of form factor SSDs. And because this is the NVMe controller, it is only possible to solve on PC3000 Portable Pro. So let's start with the SATA SSD. As I said, we are gonna use PC3000 Portable Pro to solve this case, but for SATA SSDs, the approach will be the same on PC3000 UDMA and PC3000 Express as well. So give me a second, I will stop sharing the presentation and I will open the software. So I can see in chat the question if the approach is the same for NVMe SSDs and SATA SSDs, and yes, the answer is yes, it will be the same. So just a moment. So you should be able to see my screen in a second. So here it is. Those who are new to PC3000 Portable Pro, when you are installing the software, you are getting two modes. Actually, there are three modes on Portable Pro, but about them we will talk a little later. We have full feature mode, which is orange and red icon, and we have easy mode, which is blue and black icon. And of course, because we need to work with firmware part of the SSD and we need to work on the lowest level possible with it, we are gonna use full feature mode. So the drive is connected to port 0 at the moment. That's why we will launch the utility and we will select port 0. The interface is SATA, so nothing to be changed here. I'm clicking OK and launching the software. So first of all, just to demonstrate you that this drive is actually empty. So it was formatted on this PC. So the drive right now is in DRD and DSC, so it is in ready state. We can communicate with this drive. And if I launch the universal utility for SSD, which actually does not work with the service area, it's just a very general utility for understanding the behavior of the drive. If it is going to stay in ready state, to just check the information about this drive, to see if you have the password, if you have some problems with smart. So it's just a very basic utility for checking. It's not for actual data recovery. But if we go to tools and if we go to sector edit, which will open us the user area access, we can see that yes, there is the master boot, but if we go further, the data will be written with zeros. So I'm just checking the the drive and playing with its capacity. Yeah, you can see that it is zeroed. So only the information of the master boot is available. Why? Because this drive was quickly formatted, so there is the information and the metadata of the new file system. It is the only thing that is available on this drive right now. So if we close this task, and if, for example, I launch the utility that can mount this SSD to my PC, this is what I can get. This is my SSD that connected directly to the motherboard. This is my hard disk drive connected directly to the motherboard. And this is the SSD that is connected to port number 0. And it's empty. So there are no tricks from my side, nothing like this. This SSD is actually in working state, but it is empty. So what we can do? If I launch universal utility and if I create the data extractor task based on this SSD, what can I get? So it is Silicon Motion SSD. Let's put it like this, case number 1. SATA 0, because drive is connected there, make data copy to have all options available in data extractor. And this is what we get here. So full passport is available, obviously, because drive is in good working state. But if we launch the if we try to open the file system, as I said, yeah, we have just some newly written information here. So right now, if I execute quick disk analysis, or if I launch the the full analysis or raw recovery, I will not get anything. So raw recovery on PC on port 0, we will get information about the new file system. And if we have time, yeah, and if we wait and sit here, we will not be able to see anything. We can jump between the LBAs a little bit further on the drive. Yeah, let's go like, I don't know, 50 million. No data at all. So this is what SSD it's actually thinking at the moment. SSD thinks that all the data is gone from this drive. What we need to do in this case? In this case, we need to launch the special utility. We need to launch the special utility based on this drive. So this drive, it's actually smart buy. It should be here, and we can launch the utility for Silicon Motion drives. This drive, the controller of this drive is Silicon Motion 2259 XT version. We can either launch it from here, yet from choosing the vendors, or from choosing the controller. Silicon Motion 2259 XT, and we are launching the utility. So don't pay attention what exact family you are using, because Silicon Motion Silicon Motion is the controller that can be used on a lot of different SSDs. It's not that important to find the exact utility compatible with your drive. As long as this utility is based on the same controller, it will be fine. So we are launching the utility, and this case can be switched to the safe mode and therefore technological mode automatically. So we don't need to short the drive with the tweezers as we commonly do. So sometimes the drive can be switched automatically when you are trying to upload the loader. What loader we need to upload? The suggested one. What is the loader? What is the loader? Loader, it's actually the firmware. I'm sorry, not the firmware. It's the special microcode that provides you the possibility to get access to the service area of your chips. Service area of your chips. So let's launch this uploading of the loader. uploading. If the software asks for the second uploading, just select the same one. And let's see what we can get. So how to understand if loader has been uploaded? We can see the information in the log. So when we see the information about the chips, about chips ID, about the vendor of the chips, it means that loader has been uploaded. We just need to wait a little bit more for it to access the data. And then we will launch the building of the translator. So right now, currently, we are not doing anything new. This is just the common way of recovering the data from firmware damaged SSD. So nothing special is happening at the moment. But let's just wait. Let's just wait for it to finish building. All right, so it has been completed. What we need to do next, we need to create a translator. We are creating the translator as create a new profile folder for today's webinar. And translator building will be started. Translator building on this case will take around 15 or maybe even more, around 20 minutes to finish. So I don't want you to just sit here and wait for it. That's why I can just upload the translator that I already built. Just give me a second. So here it is. As you can see, I created this translator just 1 hour before the presentation today. So it will just save us some time. How to do it? You can use this approach when you are working with SSD. For example, in the evening you need to go, you don't want to leave SSD connected all the time, you can turn it off. Tomorrow you will come back to the laboratory, you will upload the loader again, and instead of creating the translator, you can just load it from file. So it should be located here. Uploading the translator. So translator has been uploaded, and now if we go to data extractor task, this is where things becomes interesting. So instead of creating the case based on the port, like we did previously, we need to create our task based on the utility, because right now in the utility we have the rebuilt translator. And why this is important? Right now on SATA 0 we will have the same results as I showed you previously, just zeroed drive. But if we launch the utility, we will be able to play with the different versions of the translator. So let's go next. All other settings will remain identical. The only difference is that we are basing our our drive, and we can see actually that after just creating a translator, new translator, we will still have the same drive. Not excuse me, not the same drive, but the same information as previously. So in this case, what we need to do, we need to right click our drive, use working with the utility, add drive with access by physics. So we will not read the drive logically with the latest version of the translator, which is uploaded to the drive right now. But with this function, with this feature, we have the possibility to play with the different versions of the translator that is actually located in the hidden area of your SSD. So we have the same the same drive with the same name, and if we go add drive with translation and versions, this is where, as you can see, our software will start scanning. It will start scanning all the versions of the translation that is available in this case, and it will create you a virtual drive. Why virtual? Because you need to play with different versions. Yeah, it's not like only one version which you can see in the first result. Here you can swap them, you can change the versions, and by default, yeah, it will have, let's see what we will have here. Again, the same the same information here, but if we go edit, and if we go here, you can see that on each step of our drive, we can change the versions. So we can change the version of the boot, we can change the versions of our root folder. And currently we don't see anything. We can execute headers control, and we can see that these folders actually have some information here, yeah, but it's not the latest it's not the latest information. If we go to versions on the root, we can try to manually adjust these versions. So you can do it automatically by clicking selection versions for metadata. Let's try to do it. Scan a version for MFT record number 0. Yeah. And there are two options, like the most relevant and with non-zero file size. So let's just launch the first option, which will give us our software can scan and analyze the versions. Yeah. Don't pay attention to this page marker checking error, because we are working with different versions of translation. Utility still thinks that we are working with the latest translator, but because we are playing with the versions, such errors are possible, because like it's working at the same time with different versions of the translation, and like links to the files can be located in different positions on the drive. That's why we see such errors. So while we are waiting, I can see the chat. And the question, when doing loader and translator, where is it saved? So loader is not saved anywhere, because we are uploading loader just to the RAM, and loader can be taken from the list of loaders when you launch the utility. But translator will be saved in your profile folder. So remember, when I start to create the translator, it asks me where to save it. The folder was based on the name of my drive, and I written the webinar word after it. So if I would like to check the version of the translator, I can just go Tools, Explore Profile folder, and there will be the translator that I that I created. So there was another question to repeat the last step. Actually, the step that I did, I just clicked the NTFS file system and clicked selection versions for metadata. And right now we can see that nothing has been changed, but we can do it manually. If automatic selection does not work, we can manually adjust the the root folder. So let's use another address, refresh. This result looks even worse. Let's use option number 3. Refresh. And here is our data. So let's try to open some pictures. Let's wait for quick analysis, and here it is. Maybe not the best picture for those who are afraid of insects. Let's try something else. This one is big one. This is a big picture. So yeah, pictures are available, and if we go back, this result will actually be should actually be available for you here, because we selected the needed version. If we go back to the main window, here is the data that we that we can get. And now from here we can decide what we need to do. Save the data one by one, I mean picture by picture. Yeah, if we need some specific pictures, we can launch the raw recovery and get access to as many files as possible. We can launch the export from drive to drive. We can do any of that. So export sector by sector copy, export to file, export to forensic format. I can see the question in in chat. What would be the difference if you just scanned it with UFS Explorer? Actually, the difference will be completely significant, because, as I said, this problem happens on the lower level of the SSD. So if we just launch the raw recovery on the on just port 0, we will not be able to find anything here. I just showed it to you in the beginning of this case. And because we executed automatic search for the translation versions, we can see that we get results back. It's not like some magic. Yeah, I definitely showed you all the steps that I did one by one. And if you didn't catch it, I will show you on the different one, because there was a question in chat if it is different approach with NVMe or SATA SSD. Let's close the current case. Close the software, because we need to switch the port. And now the flash, not the flash drive, the SSD with native USB interface, but based on NVMe control. So let's launch the utility and use USB host port. So if you have NVMe drive, you can connect it to port 0, port 1, port 2, and select the your type of interface. If you have native SSD based on NVMe controller, you can use USB host port. You don't need to solder anything. You don't need to solder SATA connection, PCI Express NVMe connection, and so on and on. Just connect it directly to USB host port and you are ready to go. With Portable 3, it is also possible. Yes, of course. It is also possible as well, because it is the same software. Yeah. So USB host port. If we again launch the universal utility, I'm just trying to show you that the situation is very, very similar. Yeah, we have the drive, which is completely empty. And if we are launching the SSD based on it, I mean the utility based on just USB host port, it will not give us any results. But if we launch the SSD for this specific controller, like this, it will show us the steps that we need to do. So first, it will ask you to short the SSD to the safe mode. So let's try to find our our form factor. So as you can see, it looks like this. Yes, so we will need to short this point. It's very hard for me to show on camera, but you can see it on the screen. So I will just use the common tweezers. I will put the tweezers, and this drive should go to safe mode. Let's try to do it. Okay, so it is not switching to the safe mode, but when we start uploading of the loader, it should be switched on automatically. Let's try. Let's try to upload loader, and we will see in chat, not in chat, in log, we will see that it is actually switching to the safe mode and therefore to the technological mode as well. Again, if we don't know which loader to choose, we can see that one of them is highlighted. So let's choose the highlighted loader. So give it just a moment. Let's try one more time. So let's try to switch this SSD to the safe mode one more time. Just a moment. It's pretty small, so it's not that easy to do. So, all right, it looks like I managed to do it. No, I didn't. One last try. So let's wait for initialization of the utility. Then we can try one more time. So while we are waiting, let me check what new we have in chat. How do we disable trim on the SSD to prevent it from physically destroying the data when the drive is idling? Does PC3000 do that automatically when we upload a loader into SSD RAM? Perfect question. And actually, yes, as soon as you, first of all, when you switch the drive to the safe mode, you are physically blocking the access to the chips. So therefore, no trim will be in working state. When you upload the loader, remember when I said that this is the modified microcode. Our developers, when they creating the the loaders, they are actually switching off all the background processes. So when you connect the SSD and upload the loader, you should not worry about about background operations, because they all will be switched, trim as well. So uploading of the loader has been done. Now I can again create a translator, but this SSD is 512 gigabytes capacity. So just to save some time, I will load the translator. So let's create a new profile folder. Webinar. Perfect. And let's upload the translator. So here it is. Again, I did it just before the presentation. So uploading is almost done. All right. And now if we launch the new task, so this is SM2320G. Again, we are using utility, not the just USB port. And this is where all the data should be available for us. So model name, capacity, everything is correct. Everything looks normal. But if we launch the file system, we can see that again, it is empty. Yeah, it has some information about the file system, about the partitions, but these partitions are empty. If we launch the data, the quick disk analysis or anything like this, they will not bring us anything to the table, because again, SSD is thinking that it is empty. All our information, it's actually completely empty. The first, so but if we again launch working with the utility to add the drive by physics, and then if we launch on the newly created drive, add drive with translation and versions, this is the key feature. Yeah, this is the key moment. Our software at this step is trying to analyze the versions of the translator. It is not only using the latest build translator, which has information only about newly written file system, newly written file structure, but old data as well. And here is the process that has been started. Of course, each case is unique, and sometimes you need to spend more time on playing with the versions. So in the first case, I showed you, that even after automatic search, even after some automatic adjustments, it was not possible to get access to the data. But when we played with the versions manually, when we adjust the versions with different boot, with different root folder, it becomes available. So all cases are unique. You never know if the person started overwriting the data, because not always clients are honest, and they can say that I didn't click anything, but you can see that data is fully gone, for example. Then you use this option and get access back. I saw in chat a lot of questions what to do if the person starts to write the data over the previous one. Again, it's different. It's a unique case. But if the person didn't overwrite the whole capacity, the chances are still there. So, of course, even though it may look like a magic, if there is no connection to the previous files, or it won't be possible. But so I mean, if the old user area will be fully overwritten with the new one, it won't be possible, because they will know there will not be any old data available for you. It's like the same thing, like a full formatting, but instead of zeros, it will be newly written data. Yeah, but as long as there is some data which is not touched by the by the new file system rewriting, it should be possible. So of course it depends. And again, it depends how much time it can spend with the trim. On some drives, yeah, some cases they were extremely fast, like in a couple of, maybe in one day, the data was gone. But in some cases, it was possible to recover the data even from month before. So one of the tickets from you guys was recovered like 3 months ago data. So it's definitely something that you need to analyze yourself, that you need to play with yourself. It's not always the same. All the cases are unique. I'm telling you this as the technical support engineers. There are no two completely identical cases, even from the same person, even from the same PC. So issues can be very, very different. So the scanning almost done. This is just searching for the translator versions. So it will try to get as much information as possible to upload it like to the virtual drive. Yeah. Is it the same procedure for the SMR hard disk drive? Not identical, but the approach is more or less similar. I think we have a video on our YouTube channel regarding SMR hard disk drives, but maybe we will do some additional webinars of it. I don't know. But approach is, again, should be done in data extractor, but it's not fully identical. Something is a little bit different. So virtual drive. Let's try to open the data now. And actually, in this case, yeah, we are a little bit more lucky than in previous one. We don't even need to adjust the versions manually, like we did on SATA SSD. It's not because this drive is NVMe and previous one was SSD. No, it's just the way how the analysis worked. You saw that in previous SSD there were a lot of page marker errors. So maybe it was not only because of the quick formatted SSD, but maybe actually the drive becomes corrupted after lying with no power. Yeah, remember that SSD are not the best media storage devices for keeping the data without connecting it to the PC. So it's like a big battery of your smartphone. It will discharge over time if you are not using it, if you are not charging it back up. In this case, it was possible to do even without some manual adjustments. So, but actually we have access to the data. We can see that all our data looks green, at least right now. Let's try to open some pictures just to be sure that we have everything available for us. And from here, we can continue working with this drive. Keep in mind that that all the things that I showed you today, right now, yeah, with these two SSDs, they has been performed in RAM. So as soon as I disconnect the drive, if I need to go back to this actual data, we will need to upload the loader again, and we will need to upload translator again. So we are not fixing this drive completely. Yeah, we are working with RAM when working with SSDs. This is the thing that you need to remember, and this is actually some kind of differences between hard disk drives and SSDs. So this was everything that I wanted to show you regarding the real-life cases. So let's quickly return to the presentation. And as I was saying, this demonstration, this real-life cases, has been done on PC3000 Portable Pro. So this is our flagship device that provides you the possibility to handle pretty much any type of storage media just with one tool. We can work with hard disk drives, both classic, SMR, SAS, PATA, CCB drives, and so on and on. The huge list of different types and interfaces of modern SSDs, and even flash drives are supported, but they supported only if there are logical issues with them. So if there are some firmware corruption or physical issues, you need to use our additional product, our additional tool, PC3000 Flash. And of course, let's not forget about RAID. PC3000 Portable Pro actually has 4 ports that you can work with simultaneously. So to summarize everything about Portable Pro, yeah, we have, it is the universal tool for any drives available on the market. We have 4 diagnostic ports, 3 universal PCI Express combined with SATA port, and 1 USB host port. So there was a question in chat, what is the difference between Portable 3 and Portable Pro? With Portable Pro, you can work with 3 damaged PCI Express SSDs at once. Also, you can obviously image the data from one PCI Express SSD to another at high speed. You can image from 1 to 2 drives at the same time. USB port can be used as the target port and as the source port, so you can analyze the data like I just showed you. Yeah, this second SSD was done completely via USB host port. I didn't solder anything to connect it to port 0 or something like this. Also on Portable Pro we have touchscreen if you need to work with some standalone mode cases when you don't need to connect your Portable Pro to the laptop or to the PC. We added oscilloscope function to all modes of this product, and it is right now working on USB 3.1, so the connection will be stable with no worries about that. So let's summarize the advantages not only of PC3000 Portable Pro, but any PC3000 tool like Express, UDMA, Portable Pro, which has the SSD utilities. PC3000 SSD utilities are the only existing solution for formatted or deleted data from SSDs. To use this new approach, SSD controller must be supported. So at the moment, we have support for Silicon Motion, Phison, Maxio, and in future, we are hoping to add more drives to the support list, more controllers to the support list. It is possible to recover data even if it was deleted months ago, but again, here is the catch. It depends from case to case. It is possible, but not in all cases, because again, some people can overwrite, in a couple of months, they can overwrite fully the SSD. Some people, when they understand that they deleted something or that they formatted SSD, they go to data recovery services immediately. In this case, chances will be higher. So it is possible. Also, it is possible to trace previous file versions and roll back the file history. If you have, for example, a big Office file that was saved on your SSD and it was changed like today, yesterday, 2 days before, with playing the versions, as I showed you, you should be able to see like the changes performed in the file. And with PC3000 SSD utilities, it is possible to scan all area of an SSD, including reallocated and unused blocks, with the help of quick disk analysis, with the full disk analysis, raw recovery, and some additional features of the data extractor. And last but not the least, safe mode is optional, not critical. So if your drive is in working state, you don't need to like damage the drive to work with the special utilities. As I just showed you, you can upload the loader even if your SSD is in fully working mode. So either by shorting the drive with tweezers or just by trying to upload the loader, and SSD utility will automatically switch the drive to the safe mode. So quick formatted SSDs are no longer such a challenge. What are your thoughts? What do you think about this approach? Is it actually hard? Is it like something too complicated for you? Because with enough experience, yeah, after checking a couple of drives, after enough practicing, you can do it easily with PC3000 SSDs systems. But if you still think that you need to know more, if you still think that you are not experienced enough, for example, at the moment, feel free to join our offline and online training classes. For example, they will be available in Prague in 2026. Topics that will be covered: hard disk drives, SSDs, and RAID training courses. Dates are in the middle of April, so starting from the 13th of the April, for a couple of weeks, our instructors will be happily to introduce you to our technologies, to show you the cases with different complexities, to demonstrate you how to work with our tools. Just contact us via this email, and we will be glad to communicate with you about this. Also, the last thing that I wanted to say to you today regarding this presentation is that when you are choosing PC3000 solutions, when you are choosing solutions from AceLab, you are getting not only the tool and that's it, but you are actually getting the whole package deal. You are getting everything needed for data recovery. You are getting technical support, which is available for you to not only help with some cases, but to solve the cases instead of you. For you, you can just create a ticket and go for a walk, go drink some coffee, and our engineers will help you with that. Regular software updates which are introducing highly needed solutions like this. Yeah, this solution was asked for a very long time, and we finally found a way how to deal with such cases. Tutorial resources like our manuals, blog, forum, YouTube channel, all of these are available for you pretty much for free. Yeah, go ahead, check YouTube, and you're ready to go. Go check our blog, go check our articles there. Training courses, even if you cannot travel, if it's too long, too high priced for you, yeah, I mean to travel, you can always visit our online training courses. You can always check the recorded sessions again on our YouTube channel. Conferences and meetups. Every year we have a conference in October, and this is the perfect way and the perfect opportunity for you for networking, because you know a lot of data recovery engineers have the feeling that they are alone, but actually when they are meeting up on such conferences or on such webinars, you can see how many people are actually working together on the same problems, and you can exchange your knowledge, you can exchange your experience, you can learn more stuff, you can tell your data recovery friends, yeah, to show how you can deal with different drives. So this is everything that you actually need in order to improve yourself, to solve more cases, to earn more money, and and so on and on. So with PC3000, with the complete toolkit for data recovery professionals, you can be ready for pretty much any challenge that can end up on your desk. If you still have any questions, we are always happy to help you. You can communicate with us. You can toggle us via these three options: via our emails, via our sales representative email, via the WhatsApp chat, direct communication with our sales department, and LinkedIn group where we send all the latest information about the updates, webinars, conferences, training courses, and so on and on. So feel free to communicate with us, feel free to join us everywhere, to follow us everywhere. We will be glad to see you there. And now, as far as I can tell, we should have some time to answer your questions. Let me just open the chat and check what we can do with that.
Yeah, thank you, George. Pretty nice event, pretty nice presentation. Thank you very much. Just time for you to take a breath. Please take a look in our form. I have collected all the questions to you there. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for this live session, for this discussion, some burning questions. Actually, we will start our question and answer session in a minute. So if you have anything on your mind, you still have some time to text your questions in our chat. We are here.
So just give me a moment. Yeah, I need to see the questions and answer them. So the first question that we got, it's what's your approach on SSD or hard disk drive with BitLocker encryption, assuming we have a recovery key, but which have been formatted or have a firmware problem. So the approach actually pretty much the same. If it has the firmware problem, if it is hard disk drive, you need to fix it first. If it is SSD, you need to launch the special utility, upload the loader, rebuild the translator, and check the file structure. If there are no problems like formatting or deleting the data, the partitions should be available for you. You can just open them, and when the software suggests you to put the password, just put the password there, password or recovery key. If there is some formatting or deleting in process, you will need to, as I showed you, rebuild the partitions with the different versions of the translation and again upload the recovery key there. It should be possible. Is it possible to use this approach if your SSD is based on Realtek chip SSD? At the moment, Realtek chips unfortunately are not supported, but we are looking forward to work with them. I don't have like estimated timings when these Realtek SSDs will be added to the support list, but you can be sure that our developers are trying to add as many controllers to the support list as possible. Sometimes data recovers but corrupted. Is it possible in such case to recover working data? In this case, if there are some corrupted issues during the copying, again, on our conference in October, we showed you the way how you can improve the reading on the SSDs. It is the playing with the temperature approach. You can try to heat up the SSD, or you can try to freeze it down to some minus some degrees in order to stabilize the reading. So this will be the best way for you. You need to rebuild the translator, obviously, like we did, and then during the reading, try to heat up the SSD or freeze it down. Does this solution work with PC3000 portable as well? Yes, of course. This solution works on any of our product. I'm talking about PC3000 Express, UDMA, Portable 3, Portable Pro. The limitation is just the interfaces that your tool actually supports. So Express and UDMA, it is possible, but only for SATA SSDs. Portable 3 and Portable Pro possible for SATA, NVMe and USB SSDs as well. Does this process trim affect the SSD? Like after task, can we use it normally? So of course you can rebuild the lost file system, let's say, recover data from it through the data extractor, and then as long as your drive is in good physical state, you should be able to proceed working with the SSD. So trim is not damaging the SSD. It is just a common technology. Yeah. It's just the technology that actually helps the SSD to serve you longer. So it's not dangerous for the SSD. It can be dangerous for data, yes, but not for SSD itself. How much time do we have after the trim command actually enabled? As I said, it depends. It depends on case, it depends on how many data you have, it depends on the controller, on the generation of your SSD. Like faster SSDs theoretically should be able to perform trim deletion faster. So it's all unique. Unfortunately, there is no like way to say, looking at the model of the drive, how much time you have. It all differs, it all depends. Question: if you do a full format from Windows, do you still can find data using translator versions? Here is the catch. Full format from Windows, it is a long process. It is sector by sector rewriting the data. So it's not hiding the data. It's actually rewriting the data during this process. So of course, if it is fully rewriting the sectors, there will be no data to read. We can try to check the translation, but even if we build the translation, the data that we will try to translate will be empty. So full format or full overwriting the data, of course, in this case, unfortunately, it won't be possible. Will it be the same procedures on solid state drive? Obviously, yes, because this solution is for SSDs, but flash drives, I mean, if we are talking about regular flash drives, not the SSDs with USB interface, it will be different. For SSDs with USB interface, totally the same. Installing new Windows will format the drive quickly. Yes, if you are not installing the Windows with full drive formatting, if you are not using some commands, like specific commands for full formatting, it should be just the quick formatting of the SSD. And about deleted data, is it possible? Yes, the approach for deleted data is the same. You are just playing with the versions. You are just trying to reassemble the different versions, the different folders. Actually, when I was showing this case, I can not only play with root folder or boot versions, I can play with different versions of the files. So deleted data cases approach is the same. What about ransomware attacks? It's a good question, and actually, again, theoretically, it should be possible, but you never know exactly how ransomware is mixing the data, is removing the data. So theoretically, on the paper, it should be possible because the approach will be the same. We can return back to the previous versions of the translator and therefore previous versions of the files. But it depends how exactly ransomware works. So I cannot guarantee you that it will work in 100% of cases, but theoretically the approach should be similar. So again, there are a couple of questions of deleted folders, deleted cases. Again, the question about ransomware, so it is completely identical. In the second case demonstration, the log said the drive was not in the safe mode, but you can still proceed to translator building. Yes, it is possible. It is possible, and as I said, our utility, especially if you are working with healthy drive, it is possible to switch the drive to technological mode, to uploading the loader and rebuilding the translator without physically shorting it. So why we are shorting the drive when we have some firmware corruption. We are doing it because drive cannot communicate with us. That's why we need to short it to stop any any problem of the drive and upload the loader. If our drive is healthy, we don't need to stop the drive. We can completely we can upload the loader and rebuild translator without putting it to the safe mode. So this solution can work with healthy drives as well. What about results for these methods for QLC technology? Again, another good question, another question from high-end engineer, I would say, because QLC technology on paper it's good, but in reality it's very bad, especially for SSD data recovery engineers. Approach will be the same, but you will need to play with temperatures more theoretically because of how bad the quality of the QLC chips are. So in terms of the software, there will be no differences, but in terms of some additional physical things that you can do with SSDs, in this case, you need to be prepared for this. Will be other controller support in future. Of course, we are looking forward to add more controllers to the support list. Is there a way to bypass BitLocker with no key? Unfortunately, PC3000 technologies do not have brute forcing opportunities, especially brute forcing such complicated keys as the BitLocker. So in situations when you don't have keys or password from the BitLocker, at least at the moment, we don't have the possibility to work with them. Malware, the same approach as with ransomware. Theoretically, it should be possible. Is there any developments or plans to provide solutions for dynamic soaring? This is the question more connected with PC3000 flash technology, and our developers are trying to add dynamic source as well, but you should not mix the dynamic SOAR with adaptive XOR. Dynamic XOR is not that challenging task, but adaptive XOR, this is really where it becomes more complicated. So we have some database available with dynamic source. If you open PC3000 Flash, you can find it there. But adaptive XORs, this is a real challenge at the moment. Are there any plans to utilize or incorporate AI to assist? AI in data recovery, it's a very tricky question because especially to answer this question, it's better to communicate with people who are in this kind of business for a very long time. How do you think? Can you be changed with the AI? I don't think so. All of these technologies are so tricky. I mean, not PC3000 technologies, but the approaches for working with hard disk drives, with SSDs, with flash, it's all about things that are here, not the things that you can just Google and just ask the ChatGPT, for example. So I don't think that AI will actually be a good thing for data recovery engineer. It's too much for it to learn. Is there already a date and place for Tech Week and October? Actually, stay tuned. So follow our news. We are already talking about this. We are already thinking about this. So follow for news. Stay tuned, and we will try to announce this information. So LDPC ECCs and use for dynamic source. These are the questions and these are the things that are more and more popular in modern days. To be able to bypass them, we will try to either add new approaches to PC3000 Flash, or as long as developers of the SSDs, I mean manufacturers of the SSDs, will use controllers like in the previous task, we will be able to solve such cases through the utilities, through the technological mode, not through the chip-off mode to work with to not be stuck with LDPC ECCs. If the user scanned the SSD with other software like RStudio, is there any chance for recovering the data? It's a good question, and if it is just the scan, it should be possible. But if other solutions, other approaches that you are performed, which are not safe, I mean, if they can damage the data, if they can rewrite the data, for example, in this case, of course, there could be some additional challenges. If you just scanning, I don't think that it's dangerous, but if it is not safe product, hard to tell. So I think this is pretty much it for the questions that we get, that we can see. There is another question for set firmware damaged drives, any solution for them in the future? Of course, it is in our roadmap. I think this question mostly connected with hard disk drives. Yeah, we are looking for adding more families, to adding more utilities for them. So as always, stay tuned, follow our news, follow the updates. With each update, we are trying to introduce more and more drives and add more and more drives to the support list. So I think that this has been the last question that I can see in the list. For more questions, I think we can communicate through the tickets, yeah, and technical support department. Julia, I cannot hear you.
What about now, George?
Yeah, now it's great.
Sorry, I see just one question. Is it possible to recover formatted Synology RAIDs if pool deleted and RAID reconstructed?
It's a good question because it's the question about RAID. I'm not sure how to answer it because I'm not the RAID Connect engineer, let's say it like this. This is like maybe the question for our engineer with the name of Alexander, so we can contact him and later answer the person who asked this question, maybe through email or something like this.
Yes. Actually, if we missed something, please don't worry. We collect all your questions. We have your emails, so we will be in touch. And of course, you can always get in touch with us via our emails, via our ticket systems. So please don't worry if we accidentally missed something during this session. So thank you everyone for joining us. George, thank you. You're the best. and actually, we look forward to seeing you at our future events, online, on site, of course, at our Tech Week. And please don't worry, we will upload this webinar, the recording, on our YouTube channel. So please stay tuned, and we wish you a great afternoon. If you have afternoon, maybe, or the day, depends on your region. So thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention and your questions.